O.J. Simpson is a fugitive. Where is he?
The suspect is in the back of the vehicle, has a handgun.
As Simpson held a gun to his head in the back seat of the Bronco.
This letter.
Good friend Robert Kardashian read a letter at a press conference that Simpson left behind.
I had nothing to do with Nicole's murder.
The lights are flashing and he is making a turn.
Simpson turned himself in later that afternoon.
He's in his driveway now.
The trial of the century would be next.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stacy C. Kuhn, not guilty of the crime.
It was 20 years ago, April 1992. 4 LAPD officers were exonerated in the beating of Rodney King, a beating caught on video and shown around the world.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of the crime.
Los Angeles exploded with more than 50 people killed and nearly $1 billion in property damage over the span of just 6 days.
My community became a battlefield overnight and probably the closest thing that I'll ever see to war in the United States.
Thousands were injured, including a trucker who was driving through Florence and Normandy, Reginald Denny. It was a civil unrest that law enforcement will never forget.
I've never felt ashamed of being a Los Angeles police officer, except for that day.
The LA riots exploded all over Los Angeles, from downtown to Koreatown to South LA. It was a civil unrest that made others lose faith.
We lost trust in America. We lost honor. We lost everything.
Eye on Our Community, the LA riots 20 years later.
It was a 6.7 earthquake that was felt from Los Angeles to Las Vegas.
That's too scary. We really thought we were going to die. And my kids are traumatized.
It was a quake that had a profound effect on those who survived it.
Our house slid off the foundation. I'm a single parent with an 80-year-old mom.
With the aftershocks and fires that followed.
Okay. And this is your place here?
Yes. This was my place right here.
Welcome to Eye on Our Community. We're greeting you from the tallest building in the San Fernando Valley on the campus of CSUD. Hello everyone, I'm Paul Majors.
And I'm Pat Harvey. Today we look back at the Northridge earthquake 20 years later. A disaster I'll never forget.
And one that certainly left survivors wondering if we're prepared enough for the even bigger quake to come.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Gallup poll in 2010, John F. Kennedy was the most popular president out of the last 9, 85%.
Wow.
Does that, okay, you just said wow. Does that surprise you when you hear that people still feel that way?
Yeah, because he had such a short presidency. Obviously, he touched something, I think, and you know, when you think about the 60s, but you think about what we went through as a country, I mean, the loss of our leaders, the Kennedys, Martin Luther King, and the war in Vietnam, and all of it, and then, you know, Nixon, I mean, it's just that we were able to survive.
Tuesday morning, 9/11, I was beginning my second day of training with Morgan Stanley. We were on the 61st floor of the South Tower, and I'll never forget, we were dismissed for a 20-minute break, and I went to the opposite end of my floor to see the view from the other side of the tower. And when I got to the other side of the tower, I looked out the window and saw that the North Tower was on fire.
It was fascinating. It was just fascinating to see this sea of humanity just converging on the mall.
Peggy was there as a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
And so we could hear the swelling of the crowd. Here he comes, you know.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.